Hey, Eurovision fam, it's Alesia Michelle. Let me put this stream on mute. They are interviewing the mamas right now. Hello, everybody. Oh, my goodness. So, Eurovision season has truly kicked off with Melodifestivalen today. Honestly, I feel so hyped at this point. Watching the show was just really crazy. I was like, oh man, I'm feeling all the energy. I'm feeling all the energy. So yeah, so as we know, Robin and the Mamas were direct to the final, and we have Felix and Malou and Andra Chansen. So I'm gonna go to the comments really quickly. So Antonio99 says, who was your favorite? To be honest, going into this, the song that was actually stuck in my head after the snippets was Robin's, which it was surprising because when I first heard the song, I kind of was like, oh, that's it. And then afterwards, I'm like, that was the song that I was listening to on a loop. And today, I'm not even going to kid you. I legitimately listened to the snippet of the song maybe about 6 times in a row. So going into it, I had to be real with myself that I think I was beginning to favor Robin's song, even though I hadn't seen the full package. And again, I understand why some folks listened to it and were kind of like, oh, that's it. Oh, that's all you're giving us. But I think going into it, I had to be real with myself that was probably one of my favorites, just off the strength that I really was listening to the song so much. Copyright breaker. Well, I don't speak that. Any questions? So Mr. Nielsen says Ballerina deserved to win. The staging was excellent. So I went on Twitter and I was live tweeting. And so for me, when it came to the staging, I did feel like Felix actually got the best staging package. And not just because it was a lot of bells and whistles, but I think it really fit the song. It really made sense for what was going on. And then I think in second place, I had Malou. I think her staging was really good. And at the rehearsals, I was a little bit like, oh, I don't know about this styling. But honestly, the styling and the staging and the makeup, she looked great and the show looked great. I think the only issue with it was when she got to the bridge, the vocal began to falter a little bit. And it faltered in a way that was obvious, especially because you actually have this power ballad type of track. So that really gives you an opportunity to have your voice on showcase. So everything really has to be perfect. Whereas at least if you have kind of an upbeat song, you can have more opportunities to mask a vocal mistake or a vocal error. So Miles says, you look stunning. Thank you. So Stockish Shello says, I honestly shat my pants when Felix made it to AC. I thought he would make it to the final because of the hype. To be honest, I thought that Felix was going to go to the final. I mean, just the buzz in the room, kind of the buzz that he's had going into it. And I mean, again, the buzz he had in the room, when they even just showed his face in the beginning before he even sang, I mean, that was the loudest applause in the building, without a doubt. So I thought that the hype would kind of carry him through. Again, it wasn't really my favorite song, but I definitely don't think the song is horrible. And I don't think it deserves a lot of the hate that some people were giving it. Because I kind of get what they're going for with it. So yeah. So Danielle Ely says, Robin can do no wrong. One thing I will say about Robin Bengtsson is he is really an understated, legitimately nice guy. Rooting for him doesn't feel bad in a way because he just seems so humble about everything, to be honest. So when I heard the song, I think it actually really fits him a lot more so than I Can't Go On, because I think he is kind of just a sweet, understated guy. He's not this I'm so cool, whatever. I just don't think that he's that guy. I think he's actually a really nice guy who really is kind of hey, if you take a chance on me. And there's something about that song that I just think is really catchy. It just legitimately stuck with me. Okay, so Antonio said, what did you think about Felix's vocals? Honestly, in the song is not that vocally challenging. So it's hard to really even judge Felix's vocal because I'm not really getting much to judge. I don't think I heard a bum note in his vocal though. I almost want to go back and look at my tweets because I'm like, I don't think I heard a bum note. Whereas Robin during his performance at the bridge, that was a hot mess. But at the encore presentation, he cleaned up the bridge and then ended very well. So what he did in the encore performance was better than actually what he did in the performance. Malou hit some bum notes. Susie P looked so stiff. Oh my Lord. Oh, Susie P looked so stiff. Yikes. Okay, so someone says there's reports of people having problems voting via the app. Not sure if this made an impact on the results. It might have. I don't know. It might have. ESC Sebi says, in my opinion, Malou should have qualified instead of Robin. I hear that, but again, she really did have some vocal difficulties at the end of the song, and they couldn't be ignored. Robin had some vocal issues, but I think his vocal issues were masked a little bit better than hers, just because the way that it came out at that moment in the song was too epic of a piece. But also, like, we know that Sweden loves their boys. So I don't know. I guess that's why I was kind of not that shocked. So Charlie says, I thought Ballerina would for sure win as well as Felix. I didn't have Malou as a lock after I saw the clip and heard the song. I think if Malou was given the same vibe that she gave last year, I think if she was giving kind of that young, youthful energy with a bop, I do think she could have had a chance to go direct to final. But I also will say the mamas were just coming really, really strong. I think that was a hard song not to vote for, period. I think it was a really difficult song not to pick up your phone and at least throw one vote their way. So, so someone asked, oh, this is old, but here, I guess I'm like behind in the stream. Sorry, y'all. I'm trying to get to some of the comments. So Josh says, I thought Robin might be in trouble given the results of the audience poll. Malou was wow in her look, but just had a couple of iffy moments. And yeah, I think that ultimately kind of did her in, perhaps. What else? So Dennis said the app did work. Okay. And then Bjorn says Malou was not vocally good. Flo says the mamas were the most likable for sure. Mr. Bookaholic, I hope the mamas will make it. So are you saying you want the mamas to win? So ESC Danny says the mamas were great, also my third. Someone says, hey, do you think Swedish songs in Melodifestivalen sometimes are underrated? I think that they are, but I think this year might be a different year. There is a performer, a male singer, and I like his old tracks, and he's doing something, I think, in the semifinal 4. And his track actually might go, I think has potential to go direct to final. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard a clip or anything, but I actually think, I think that would happen. So someone said, what a shock, Sonia came 5th. Actually, on Twitter, after I saw the performance and saw the full song, Sonia actually had some of the best staging. I actually think her staging was better than the mamas. And although I like the styling of the mamas, I did not like the fact that they were in black. You already have a very, very dark performance, and then putting them in black, I just did not think was smart. I'm hoping that when they go to the final, they will have colors, and I mean, the outfits already coordinated, so I like the look of the outfits, but I just think as exuberant and as joyful as the performance was, I needed to see a little bit of that color on the stage. And definitely if they go to Eurovision, they're going to need to bring a little bit of that exuberance and color to the stage to make a lasting impact, I believe, even though I think I think their song is really strong. And honestly, even though it's early with the song, like what the mamas are bringing and the style that they're bringing, it is legitimate. I said this in my preview. It is jury porn. I mean, it's crazy because it's so early, but I could just see the juries at Eurovision just giving them all of the points, all of them. I don't know what the European public will do, but I do see the juries just being like showering them. ESC says, imagine if Felix got the most votes, but the different age groups split the results so that Robin and the mamas won it. Just imagining. I actually think that could be possible. I think that totally could be actually what happened, to be honest. Um, uh, um, Yeah, Mr. Z says it's not over for Felix. Remember 2018. I agree. I actually think that, and it could be argued that going to Andra Hansen is actually better. If you think about the way that it kind of plays with Eurovision, where it is like, I think it's unsurprising that we've had kind of a nice pattern of songs that win end up being the songs that had to be in the semifinal, because you have an opportunity to get a little bit closer to that song. You kind of have to get in this mode of like fighting for that song to make it through, as opposed to like Italy last year I loved. And I don't think I talked about how much I loved Italy's song at Eurovision last year, because I was like, well, it's going to be direct to the, it's going to be in the final, it's going to be there. So I don't necessarily have to spend that much time thinking about it, because it's going to already be there. And so I wonder if that kind of is the same thing. And I wonder if that could potentially mirror Melfest. That doesn't always happen. But I do think going to Andra Hansen isn't a bad thing, because it does give you that opportunity to kind of sell your song to the public more. And it makes people get a little bit like possessive of the track, which I think ultimately works to a song's advantage. And then, so someone says, it was weird because the odds put the Mamas quite low, fourth, and put Felix Sandman right at the top first, even after the performance, which didn't make a lot of sense. I think the thing with the Mamas ultimately is there's always a hesitancy. I think when we think about the fact that like one of them is actually Swedish, or maybe two of them are Swedish, and then maybe, or if one of them's Swedish, then the other one I think is from like maybe another Nordic country or something like that. I don't know for sure, so don't quote me on it. And then one is from the States. And I know I personally felt sort of like, well, I don't necessarily think that Americans should participate in Eurovision. And I do wonder if in today's world and today's Eurovision landscape, if it does maybe count against an act to not be fully from that particular country or from Europe in general. So I don't know if that's at play, but I wonder if the bookies were kind of looking at that as a factor of why they were like, oh, maybe this won't go direct to the final. But I mean, the song was just really strong, and there was nothing like it on the stage today. So yeah. This semi was very strong. That was why Felix didn't go to the final. He will go through in Andra Hansen though. I don't know if it's weird because I don't really know if I would say that this semi was particularly strong. Like maybe it was, but it just seems so clear to me that it was down to the four of them. So maybe that's why I feel like it wasn't that strong, because to me, it was so clear that it was going to be the four of them, and whether, and who was direct to final or Andra Hansen didn't even really matter, because you knew it was going to be the four of those folks. So I don't know. Luke Smith says, I think the Mamas might have the best chance for us to get a female representative from Sweden. I agree. I think I said that in my live stream too. Like, yeah, that might be the best opportunity. With Hannah, I don't know what her song's going to be. Apparently, they said it's not going to be a ballad, that it is, in fact, going to be a dance track, but I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't have a lot of hope for that. I will say with Mariette, I'm curious about what she brings, because I do think it won't be bad, and I don't know. It's weird because I just don't see Mariette going to Andra Hansen in the particular heat that she's in. I think it's pretty much set up for her. Like, even if she just had an okay song, I think she'd still probably go direct to final, but who knows? Okay, Charlie says, yeah, throwback to Felix 2 years ago. Andra Hansen qualifier, but ended up a close second place. Yeah, I do think that's real. Okay, let me, well, someone says, oh, Celine Dion won for Switzerland. Yes, I know, but that was a very long time ago. I'm saying in this arena, I wonder. And also, Celine Dion is not American. She's Canadian. And that's a little bit different. Y'all feel a little bit different about that. So Mm, I don't know, but I wonder if that's what the bookies were kind of looking at. Deep says, Take a Chance is so catchy. Oh my God, I still have the melody stuck in my head. Yeah, that's how I feel. I think, for some fans, everyone was a little bit let down with it. But again, I think that it was the song that was the most catchy. Like, that's the song that I really have stuck in my head. I don't even really have the Mama song stuck in my head. I really have, yeah, if you take a chance on me. Yeah, so I think that that's key. Aris says, I'm worried because she said it was different from her previous songs. I think you're referring to Hannah. Yeah, I think that that's cause for concern. I think that is cause for concern because who knows? Um, uh, Sweet Miro says, this is tonight's takeaway. Never bring a minor key song to a Melodifestivalen on Saturday night fight. Yeah, actually, yeah, perhaps, perhaps. S. McLean says, would love to see Frida do well, but I don't know if that would happen. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna happen. I really don't know. Uh what is so Mr. Z says the creator said that he wanted the stage to be kind of ugly so the artists could bring their own creativity. That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Like, the staging was dark. The staging really for everybody was kind of dark. And even for the numbers that were sort of bright, like Sonia's staging was like the brightest probably. And even that one had a darkness to it. I don't think that this is I don't think that that works. So Charlie Roberts says thoughts on Ovo's performance. I agree with you that I wasn't impressed by their 30-second rehearsal clip, but I thought they did better today. I will say that they did better today, but Boo Boo in the orange shirt had no rhythm. Boo Boo was as stiff as as a piece of wood. I mean, just no flow, no shoulders moving. I mean, just so stiff. And speaking of stiff, I will be nicer to Susie P because I do think Susie P is a young performer, but she should really rethink urban music as the genre for her to present to the world. Because if you are going to be on stage and you can't move and you don't really have a lot of rhythm with love, urban music is not the music for you. It's just not. She was so stiff, and I understand she was nervous though, so that's why I'm being a little bit nice to her, and I'm kind of letting it go a little bit because yeah, she was just a little bit stiff, and I think she was stiff because she was nervous. But I also again think that she should rethink urban music as the vehicle for her career, because if you can't dance and you can't, flow, if the body can't flow, then you got to go. That performance, I was nervous for her. I felt like the whole time I was watching it thinking she was about to like forget some words. I thought she was gonna stand in the wrong place and forget something because she looked nervous. She looked nervous. So here we go. Uh Euro booth staging didn't help anyone, and I think this brought up the voting direction to the strongest songs. Yeah, Robin has the best production in the semi. Best song for me. Deep says I didn't like Malu's vocals. Aris says, oh, y'all, let me see. Nicholas says, I'm sorry, but I don't like the song, specifically the chorus of Robin Benson's Hello from France. Well, hello. Yeah, I really do like ultimately Robin's song. I think what Robin gave us was something really fun and catchy and sweet. I think it was endearing. And if you want to juxtapose it to Boys with Emotions, that definitely has that high quality production feel that sometimes I think folks feel comes off as a little bit authentic. I'm not necessarily that type of person, but I understand where people are coming from, where they feel like those types of tracks lack a little bit of soul. I don't think you can say that about Take a Chance on Me. I understand that it's catchy and it might seem very pop, But there's something about the beginning of it, the simplicity of the song, that I do think allows it to feel more earnest and allows it to feel a little bit more heartfelt than perhaps like this really, really produced banger, like a Ballerina, like Boys with Emotions. Yeah, and even Move, because the Mama's Move is a very like kind of banging song. I kind of want to bring this up, but like maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't, because I don't necessarily want to say anything bad about the Mama's performance. Not really their performance, but like the song and the package, because I like it. But I'm like, even for things that I like, I can be critical of. I'll If someone drops in the comments and says I should talk about it, I will. But let me get to some of the comments here. Eurotanit says it feels weird for Felix being one of the most popular young artists and ending in Andra Chansen. I guess it does and it doesn't. I mean, ultimately, maybe people just weren't really into the performance. And one thing I will say about his performance and the staging, they probably should have lit up his face more. Because apparently, y'all think he's real cute. And if the girls really like him, I mean, show it. Show his face a little bit more. So if I had an edit for the staging, I think we need a little bit more light on Felix's face and more moments for him to really connect with the camera with the song. Maybe that's the key. I don't know. Bjorn says Malou was nervous too. That explains the bad vocals. But see, here's the thing. Malou has done this before. So Susie P is kind of allowed to be nervous. I'm not saying that Malou's not allowed to be nervous, but not that nervous. You know what I mean? Not as nervous as Susie P was. So there's that. ESC top list. I think the Mamas won this semi by far. Swedes just love that stuff. I actually agree with you. I actually think it is very possible that the Mamas ended up winning the semi, and then Robin came in, and perhaps Robin and Felix might have been tighter than what we think with the points, but I don't think that it was that tight between Malou and Felix, with love. And I'm not even saying that from my opinion. I'm really saying it because of like how I feel like Melfest numbers end up shaking out in the end. Copyright Breaker says, so Alesia, how serious should we take the betting odds if we don't know how the song sounds? I mean, not that serious. I think I've always said that. Yeah, not that serious. Luke Smith says Susie is a little older than Malou, but Malou is much more of a mature performer at only 16. I agree. But Malou has had more experience, I think, to hone her craft. Not to mention she was literally on the stage last year and has done this ride before. Andy Taylor says it's early days, but I wonder if Robin could sweep the board in the final. The song is much better than I Can't Go On. I don't know if it's better than I Can't Go On. I don't know if it is, but I do think that this song actually suits Robin more than I Can't Go On. Just a thought. Emmanuel Jean, I could hear Alesia doing a cover of the Mamas. I probably could, but I don't have a group. I don't have no backing vocalists or anything like that. Now, Aris says Sweden also seems to like hot guys too. They do. I was like, I think we could argue that they love them. Arnold says, please send Victoria. I've said this in my live stream before. I think it's a good thing that Victoria is sitting this out until Sweden decides that, they're over their like boy craze. I think Victoria is better off just like sitting out. Jeffrey says, Susie girl, even Wooden Board said, girl, you stiff. I've never seen truer words. Mr. Z says, I think Hannah will have a chance. She said she's bringing an up-tempo song. But I don't know. I haven't really seen her do up-tempo live and performing it. And that's different. A ballad, you can just stand there and kind of look pretty in a cute dress. With the up-tempo song, you're going to have to sell that, girl. You're going to have to sell it. Don says, any thoughts on Malou's styling? I thought her outfit didn't do her any favors. I actually ended up liking it. I thought the look and the staging did everything for her. And I think, quiet as it's kept, that staging and styling probably got her into Andra Chansen, because Sonia might have taken it from her. Yeah, potentially. I don't know. Oh, it's so crazy. Deep says the backing track in the Mama's performance was too loud. No, it really wasn't. I mean, that was them. That was really them. Neil said Felix did everything to come across unlikable for the audience. No, I mean, because he still was Arnold Hansen, so I mean, not that unlikable. Arnold says, what do you think about Victoria? Should she represent Sweden? I think I just touched on that. Joey says, Alesia, how would you feel if one of these songs was our overall Melfest winner? I think I said this before. I think if Sweden were to send Boys with Emotions or the Mamas, I think that they could do very, very well in Rotterdam. I think that they could do very well. I don't know about winning. But I do think of the bunch tonight, the Mamas actually probably have the best chance of winning Eurovision, though, because I think they'll have the juries on their side, and I definitely think they're going to get some televoters. What? Linnea says, how would you rank the songs tonight? Robin's song is the song that I would listen to. So if I'm just, excuse me. If I was just thinking about the songs, So if I was just thinking about the songs and I was thinking about what I would legitimately listen to in my car and I would jam to, I would probably kick it off with Robin's. That's the song I would listen to the most. Secondly, it'd probably be Ballerina. Then probably third, actually, nope. If I'm talking about just the music tracks in my car, it would be number 1, Robin. Number 2, it would be OVO. That song I would jam in my car, legit. So that one would definitely have me. And then 2, I would probably have Boys with Emotions, then Malou. And actually, Susie P's track I like. And y'all are probably like, well, why wouldn't you listen to the Mama song? I don't really listen to like gospel music in my car. I used to listen to that when I was a kid, low-key by force. So, I mean, the track itself is just not something that I would really listen to. But as a performance piece, you know, I'm into it and I think it's gone. And I don't think that I think it's good. And I think that there's nothing wrong with it, obviously. But just for my personal taste of what I would listen to in my car, I would not listen to the Mama song in my car. I just wouldn't. Yeah, I just wouldn't. ESC Top List says there has to be really strong songs coming if anyone wants to beat the Mamas in the international jury in Melfest. I agree. I think the Mamas could definitely, I mean, but you know, I do think Felix has a chance to get some points from international juries too. But ultimately, yeah, I think the Mamas would win an international jury vote. I really do. ESC Sebi says betting odds are heavily favoring Hannah at the moment, and she's been my favorite since the beginning. I think she could kill it with an up-tempo, epic, modern song. She has the 28th spot, just saying. Will you be hopeful for her? Again, it's hard for me to get hyped for Hannah when I did not like the song with Liam. I didn't like it. So it's just hard for me to get hyped for someone when the last showing I've seen of you that I just wasn't really a fan. But also it's just not really my personal taste in music. Stalkish Shello says Robin won't be winning the competition because the song is very much like a Lala song and her songs aren't fit for competitions. But seeing as mellow viewers are boy crazy, I don't know. Well, I don't know who Lala is. I just don't know who that is. So if we're crying like plagiarism, I mean, I guess it didn't matter that much because he went direct to final and wasn't Andra Chansen like Felix. So I think sometimes like we have to just, as much as we might have opinions on songs, it's like you still have to recognize that it's like, I mean, there are plenty of songs, like I'll give Norway, for example, That's How You Write a Song. I did not like that song, but I at least could recognize that a lot of people did. I just wasn't one of them. So I cannot be mad at people who are like, oh no, I really like this. Like, that's cool. And I have to recognize the fact that it still had a power and it was led by someone who was seen as very likable. So there we go. Linnea says, go Victor Crone. I hope we send him this year. I think that would be kind of weird though, for Victor Crone to go to Eurovision last year, then come back. Even though I actually think that his song might be really good. I think that Victor Crone actually might have a really nice song. So I'm curious to see what that is. Niffler says Sweden needs to send something strong given the semifinal they're in at Eurovision. They're probably going to qualify anyway. I mean, they're definitely going to qualify. So yes, they should send something strong just off the strength that is Sweden. And, we expect quality. I personally have very high standards for Sweden. So I think I got into like a Twitter back and forth today because someone was saying that, oh, well, if Universo was sent by Sweden, everyone would love it. And for me, I just was like, Universo wouldn't win Melfest because as much as you want to come at Melodifestivalen, I think that they at least send things. There's something about Universo to me that's very middle of the road right now. I think it's going to come alive on stage, honestly. I think it'll be kind of a different sentiment when you see it sort of epic and staged and all of that. I think that song is really going to come together and be something powerful. But I do feel like overall it's a song that I don't know if I necessarily would listen to it in my car at this point. Like right now, I feel more attracted to Robin's Take a Chance. I would listen to Boys with Emotions. Like those are songs that I'm more like, ooh, are kind of like stuck in my head. Like Universo, what is it? Oh yeah, Perdoname. Yeah. So Julie says Felix deserved to go to the final, to be honest. It was so modern and catchy as heck. I think many people will like it more when they listen to it. It's that type of song. And I actually agree with you. Mr. Z actually just mentioned in the comments one of the performers that I'm most looking forward to, which is Paul Ray. I think Paul Ray might end up being my favorite from Melodifestivalen this year. I don't know. I've just listened to his other stuff. It's very what I like to listen to. I'm hoping he doesn't send like a sad boy song straight up because, we don't want to duplicate what Duncan Lawrence did last year, but I love Paul Ray's vocal. Love it, love it, love it. Riz says, I disagree. Felix's song was pretty fresh and it sounds really good. Yeah. ESC Ariel says, put the mamas in gold dresses. Yeah, I would be fine with gold. I'd be down with like rose gold, silver. You know what I mean? Like we can match and we don't all have to be in the same color, but the black, I love the styling of it. I just didn't resonate with the black sparkles. It didn't pop as much as I believe it should have and honestly needs to when we bring it to Eurovision. Wait, did I say when we bring it to Eurovision? Oop, oop. ESC Tony, thank you for watching. I love y'all. I always take a moment in my videos just to say, like, honestly, I really, really appreciate this. I am in America. I am by myself. I just want to talk to people about Eurovision. That is why I started my channel. I started my channel in 2015 and I've been writing about Eurovision. At that point, I've been writing for about 5 years about Eurovision. And I really just did all this stuff because I wanted to talk to people about it because I love Eurovision. I love all the song competitions like leading up to it. And no, I am not following the national selections this year other than Melodifestivalen just because I'm very busy and I don't have a lot of time. And if I do this stuff, I want to do it full force and I don't want to half-ass anything. So just thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for following. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. And thank you because some of y'all share my stuff and tell your friends. So thank you for doing all of that. Like, I really, really appreciate it. So let's keep the conversation going. Okay. Luke says, if Universe was in Melfest, it would go out and Andra Chansen. Yeah, maybe. And Luke Smith says Universo probably would have been rejected from being able to compete in Melfest. To be honest, like it might have. I really am curious about this the process of songs and like the songs that don't make it through, because I imagine there's probably some strong songs that don't make it through. Nil Era says Melodifestivalen probably rejected, yes, and it's now in Denmark. Haha, I don't get it. Yeah. Niffler says Voice with Emotions really grew on me. RX says Malou was robbed. But you know what? She got direct to final last year, and this year she has to do Andra Chansen. And real talk, she could have came back this year and then actually been robbed. And I don't think that happened. I think that Andra Chansen makes sense because the mamas really delivered. You know, Felix has had a really strong performance. Robin really did. I mean, Robin has, I think, the track. I think that that's the strength, and that's what's pushing Robin through is that. So yeah, some unholy dude. I hope we, Sweden, don't rely on previous results on ESC. Just because we are a heavyweight in this competition doesn't mean we'll qualify automatically. We need a strong song each year. I agree. Mr. Z says, wasn't Fuego rejected? Or I don't think that Fuego was rejected. There was another song, though. Flavia says, what's your thoughts on Jagab's Beautiful Lie? So I did react to Esti Lau. Honestly, I have not even listened to any of the Esti Lau songs in their entirety. So I have no opinion. Mr. Nielsen says, is there a rule which states that if a song in Swedish language wins, it must be performed in English on Eurovision? It's so stupid if it's true. No, that is not a rule. Anthony Johnson, the Mama song sounds like what Sweden thinks what a black gospel song sounds like. I don't disagree with that. And maybe not just what Sweden thinks a black gospel song sounds like, but what Europe thinks a black gospel song sounds like. And I'll tell you, in listening to the entirety of Move, I will say that the song legitimately sounds like the part in a Tyler Perry film when the sad black woman is starting to get happy because she's now dating this light-skinned black man who has a terrible wig on. And so they're all going out on these dates and she's getting her life back and she's all happy. Like, that's legitimately what the song sounds like. And that's not necessarily not a compliment. It just is what it is. Don says, I wonder if the reason why everything looks so dark is the use of projection instead of an LED wall. I think that could be part of it. I think also, like, just the stage itself, like the floor of the stage. I'm like, could it be brown? I don't know. It's just, everything just seems so dark. And even Robin's performance, I felt, was a little bit like, with the lights, it still had this like tinge of darkness. No. Luke Smith, I know you aren't checking out national finals, but at some point you should check out just a 2-minute compilation of the 7 songs in the Czech national selection. They are on Melfest quality level. Yeah, maybe. But honestly, I'd rather wait for the big thing. I think there have been lots of years where I've attempted to avoid the national selections because I do feel like I get a little bit disappointed with what the country ultimately decides to select. And it does kind of make my Eurovision experience a little bit different because I will compare the song and go like, well, if they had sent this instead, would it have done better than this? And I just kind of didn't want to have that this year. And I sort of wanted to experience the competition without having that knowledge of what happened behind. So yeah. Someone said, was it just me or was the whole stadium pretty small? Most of the semifinals actually aren't in that large of arenas on purpose. So yeah. But those are my thoughts. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to wrap up this live video. If you don't like and subscribe, that's okay, but you should definitely like and subscribe because I got more content coming for you. Also, be sure, don't forget, definitely comment because some of you are joining this in the replay. So you can still comment. I still will drop down in the comments and respond. So yes, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, everyone. Melodifestivalen season has kicked off. I'm so excited. I cannot wait for semifinal 2. It's going to be really exciting. I am ready. I'm ready, and I hope you are too. Bye.